So, I went to a concert of a singer, obviously, who I barely knew any music of. Originally, my mate sent me the link to the tickets. In the end, he couldn't make it. We had a ticket. I decided to go instead. On my lonesome, as I usually do to concerts. However, this wasn't just any concert. This was my introduction into the weird, whimsical world of chap-hop. A genre which I found out about 3 years ago from the same friend whilst we were at the pub. Never followed up looking it up. Probably should have. It was a fun time. Anyway, yes, I went and saw 3 people. One of which I'd known about for 3 years. One of which I'd known about for 3 days. And one of which I'd only known about for 3 hours. And he was the first one on stage. This was Thomas Benjamin Wilde Esquire. Here's the one I only know about for 3 hours. I would say he was quite enjoyable. Although I will say about his complaining about the weather song, as I've gone further in life, I have just in general learned that most nationalities complain about the weather. We do consider it to be a very British thing, and it is, because a couple of days ago, I thought it was too hot, and usually people like it being hot. And it got to the point where it felt so hot, I couldn't really concentrate on anything. Yeah, I'll complain if it's hot, I'll complain if it's raining, I'll complain if it's windy. Definitely living on a boat, I'll complain if it's windy. But along with other songs, whilst I couldn't overly relate, I could relate to a certain extent. I could still see the funny side in them, and I'd say he was pretty good. One that I couldn't really relate to was Pants Drunk, because I'm not the type of person to just sit at home in my boxers getting drunk. I will sit at home fully clothed and just drink water. If I'm gonna be getting drunk, I want to be out or have other people around. I do not get drunk by myself. I think that is something to be massively avoided. Call me too sensible. I couldn't give 2 shits. To quote another one of his songs, I have no fucks to give. Then, what was, in my eyes, the main event came on stage. Professor Elemental. He was the one I knew about 3 years ago, but all I knew was a mysterious song about tea. Well, he sang 2 songs about tea, one by himself, which he dissed herbal tea, or as they're kind of called infusions. I love them. And also the song didn't mention rooibos tea, which only grows in South Africa and is the most fucking delicious tea there is. It is by far my favourite tea. It's the only tea I have here in the boat. I haven't had a cup of it in a while, and I probably should. It's because I wake up in the morning and just have coffee. He also was a bit rude about coffee, which I probably should drink tea instead, but it's just part of my routine. Part of my morning routine. Anyway, I did enjoy the song about tea. I'm a little bit, I wouldn't say completely obsessed, but I am now on board with chap-hop because of Professor Elemental. And he also signed a tea towel for my mate who couldn't make it. It was very lovely. Out of the songs he sang, I think I'd say my favourite was Nerds Gone Wild. Nerds Gone Wild, smart if you're working with a certain style. Everybody move, nobody get hurt now, go with that. Nerds Gone Wild! All the different subcategories of nerd, some I just don't get at all. And some I feel quite divorced from. I'm incredibly proud to call myself a nerd. I am a proud nerd. I'm just the train-loving type. And it's just in general a fun song. And keeping in his aura of only being happy and positive and kind, instead of doing a roast battle, he did a compliment battle where he said he was going to compliment everybody in the audience. He only got around about 5 people. One of them not being me. I shouldn't be insulted though.
Your mum made your fighting trousers for you! I mean, that is true. She did have to sew these up actually when I split the crotch. At a children's festival, imagine that kid. But I digress. So we developed a thing, Brian being as middle class and white as it is, we developed a new style of battling over there, which was a compliment battle. We tried to just be as nice as we possibly could, and I, for the first time, and I may regret this, I'm going to try and battle every single person in this audience. You're already dressed for the summer. I feel kind of underdressed, I'm cloudy, that's a bummer, so I'm best to move on and get my groove on. It's elemental. Yes, I am. I'm kind of rap addict. Now, I'm going to turn a new page. Madam, calm down, you need to get off my stage. I'm a rap dude. I'll give you quick respect and your tattoos. And thanks for telling me you're high. When it comes to grabbing the mic, I'm like you all, I am incredibly nice. Mr. Maxwell on the cuts. I wonder if you could do something to make them all move their butts. Pass me the pie. Under your tie. White as a bride. There's your rising up and word and let's get messy. We are one love that with DJ Nick Maxwell on the cuts.
Then came the last person who I knew about probably just over a week before the concert. My mate knew about him the whole time he knew about Professor Elemental and just never mentioned him. Oh well. This was Mr. B, the gentleman rhymer. And I wouldn't be surprised if he dropped an E before getting on stage, because he was a little all over the shop. He, low-key, did do a bit of a break with one of my favourite instruments. I don't have one, but I do have a very soft spot in my heart for the kazoo. Even though it does sound really annoying, I do have a soft spot for it. Jingling a China teacup, though.
I could almost so many faces.
Like, there's love in a cup of tea, and then there's just taking it to some level of insanity. I did like his song All Hail the Chap, and also, bloody hell, his technology / wanking song. To be honest, he raised a good point. Porn is way too readily available. Porn is corrosive, and yeah, it probably does diminish how fucking good your wank is. Seriously, go out there and, if you can find it, have some good sex. Considering how much there is, it unfortunately does become hard to come by. But once you've experienced it, just think about that instead of trying to find the next crazy shit to get your rocks off of on Pornhub. Which just makes me think of the Family Guy gag where it's like, it's going to be built out by Disney, then Netflix, then Pornhub. They've got a bloody point. Not only is that website toxic, but it's also profitable. Anyway, just after Mr. B sings the Outer Space song, I don't know what it's actually called. But generally I found that song quite annoying. But at the concert, I bloody loved it. Partly because I finally knew one of the songs I was singing. I managed to know another song they were singing, because it was the tea song that I'd known about for 3 years. All three of them got on stage and sang Everything Stops. Generally not the case. Generally everything stops for train maps. But that's just me. All in all, it was a pretty damn good concert. I am very happy I went. And the venue it was so cute. It was tiny, it was in New Cross. And it's one of those venues so small it could easily be swallowed up by bloody developers, but we need to keep them alive. Out of their attire, I've got to say, Prof Elemental had the best. He was dressed up like, well, many clouds. He was dressed up like the sky. And I've seen on his Instagram, he's also got an outer space suit. As in, a jacket and hat, and trousers covered in galaxies, not an actual spacesuit for going to the moon in. So, overall, keeping in chap-hop fashion, I would say it was a splendid spiffing concert. I think they'll be insulted if you called it a gig. It would be a bit too common.
It's not easy to spot music, because on the shades long, basically on the shades long.